Alright, this is where the playthrough actually begins. Now, we start out, we just go to Owari, see what I gotta do here. Oh yeah, well, see how I handle this. Talk a little bit, yeah, we'll leave it on auto, but I'm about to skip everything, so I'll just do this. And I'll see how it turns out once I edit it. I mean, who knows? Could be fantastic. Basically, it's just Rance getting his house and then having sex with Syl. Then you've got some, well, yeah, I'll go over the overworld map. Here it is, you get all the stuff right here. There's actually a lot going on. Down at the bottom, this Rance, wow, what, 6? Shit, I should know Roman numerals. Turn, and it keeps track of your turn, and your money, and your satisfaction bonus, and your national power. Then you've got your prison, your troops, your items, and then system information, whatever. The prison, there are no people in it, because I haven't fought anybody yet, and the troops are the ones that I've had before. Rance, Ranmaru, Katsui, Maeda, Akechi, and Niwa Nagahide, who wasn't in the first battle for whatever reason. He won't be missed. And then your items. Rance has an arrow diary. Not surprising. It's fantastic. So, all these are probably references to other games that I don't understand. Here's the system info. It keeps track of your score. This, a lot of people are concerned about this, from what I can tell. All my friends were, and the score is totally meaningless in your first play because you're not going to get anything below or above the 5 points that are defaulted to you. Pretty much regardless of what you do. It gives you the other objectives here. Beat Orochi. I've never done that because I don't like the dungeon crawling too much. Character clears. You get, I think, 2 points per character that you clear. Beat the Yokai King, which is Masamune, the eyeball. And, you know, all the other shit. You can see it there. Yeah, I think that's everything. Here are your action fans. You start out with 2. Once you get 50 satisfaction points with Rance, you have the option to pick a 3rd, and you should. Then I guess, next I would just recruit Fuka, because what else are you gonna do? This is okay, yeah. All of your other units have stats besides their attack, defense, intelligence, and speed. Those are all obvious as to what they do for the most part. Also, they have actions based on how many times they can act in combat. And they have search, negotiation, construction. These are like the more turn-based aspects to each commander, and it's what could make a really horrible commander still meaningful. If they have really high, you know, secondary statistics, then they're fine. You might still want them, just not for fighting. And every unit has a cost as well, which changes. Then you go to accept, and you have the dialogue. These come with whenever you recruit an important character. If you're recruiting somebody from your prison and they're a no-name commander, because you can enlist a bunch of shitty units from provinces, territories, whatever you want, and from your prison. The ones from your prison, though, if they're an important commander, it'll have a unique dialogue. And it usually just assumes Rance goes and speaks to them, whether he negotiates with them or not, and this happens. I mean, I sent Maeda to do it, that's how I look at it. I sent him to negotiate with her to recruit her, but it's just a dialogue with Rance, and I guess co-introducing Fuka to Rance, and then he asks her to join. She's a Miko unit. I don't like Miko units at all. They feel pointless, mostly, because in combat, I didn't explain it yet, but there's a bar at the top of the screen. I'll show you when I actually go into combat with another army. And basically, you are blue, they are red. You have to have over 50% of the bar controlled as blue in order to win the fight. Mikos can heal units, but it doesn't change where that bar is at, which makes their turn almost a whole waste. Unless you're trying to conserve money, and then, in that case, healing troops in combat is important. They can do other things too. I mean, they have Miko Storm, which is 10% damage to every enemy unit. And that's meaningful on higher difficulties, but at lower difficulties like this, it's totally irrelevant, and it's not necessary. They can also attack with a bow and heal all of your troops. I don't know. There are a couple good Miko units in the game. Obviously, I didn't show you on the map yet, but there is a Miko Institute, and its leader, its faction head, is, of course, a Miko, and she's one of the best units in the game for army confrontations. I'll do a dungeon and describe the difference between army confrontations and, like, dungeon battles, commander battles, because it's a big difference. It's pretty significant. You can have a commander that's excellent at one and terrible to the other. All commanders have a level. Rance's cap is 99. He starts out at 40. 40 is about average for a good commander to do. I'll talk about it more later. But yeah, then Fuka joins the army. It's all great. She won't see too much use. And that's it for that turn. You get 2 goes at it, then you're done. And then that's Hara. They're one of the 2 places you can attack first. And this is what happens when you end your turn. It shows the NPCs go, I guess, and what they're going to do. Storm Auto, fantastic. It introduces them. Usually when you start bordering a new enemy territory, it'll introduce them for you. And that's kind of what's going on now. It's introducing the ones that border you, but not all on one turn, because then it would just be a huge amount of text. For the next couple turns, it'll introduce them. It has yet to introduce Iga and Tokugawa, and I think that's all. Yeah, alright. Yeah, there's Ashikaga Choshin. He's their faction head, the single worst unit in the entire video game. He actually has zeros in a couple of stats, and I mean, it should be obvious why. That's EQ. He's a tactician. You face all of your enemies in combat. All the faction heads and their subordinates, they're important ones like EQ. He's obviously important, that's why he's talking to the Ashikaga faction head. And I don't really recall if he's a good unit. I've had him before, but it was rare. He has a very unique ability. I'll go over that as well. Choshin, on the other hand, is, like I said, the worst unit in the game, and he has almost no purpose in your first playthrough at all. I'm not sure. He has an item associated with him that's extremely good, but I don't know if you can obtain that in your first playthrough. He also has a character clear, which you'll want to do for completion's sake at some point in a future playthrough, I'm sure. I don't know why he's dressed like a Miko, or if... God, that could be his normal skin tone. Wouldn't that be just horrifying? That would be. Oh, God. His teeth are... Just look at him. No. It's disgusting. EQ's not so bad. He's scary. I don't know. I don't know what to think about him. I don't know what they're talking about. Oh, yeah, EQ's talking about his mom. You see his mom in combat. In a totally non-sexual way. He rides around on her. She's like a ghost thing. It's terrifying. Yeah, there you go. Then turn 3 triggers. You get gold at the beginning of every of your turn, all of your turns. And usually at the beginning of all of your turns, you'll have some kind of a dialogue going on. And it's usually new. They introduce new dialogues to you, aspects of the story. Until you get really far into the game, and if you're not really doing anything, you're not making any progress, it's not gonna give you something new, or anything at all. It may just skip it, and you'll go straight to your turn. And also auto-saves at the beginning of every turn, which, that's important. There's a lot of random number generation in this game, and it's a pain in the ass when it doesn't work out for you. It really is. It feels horrible and unfair, and it will just make you angry to no end. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Rance is just like a giant child most of the time. Alright, yeah. Let's see here. We've got Tonight at Rance's Place. It just lets him sleep with someone that he has. It gives him a satisfaction point. My Slave Syl. It gives you a dialogue featuring Rance and Syl, usually both together, I think. And the 0 out of 7 deals with this. You go to your commanders, and Rance here. There are no smiley faces in any of these squares. That's not a good thing. All of your characters have that, and you can increase it. When they get max smiley faces, which is 7, it will give them a power-up that you can select. In this, while I'm here in the troop pane, it shows their levels, their job, their abilities. Auto-heal still heals the troops, she doesn't actually fight. Rimaru has none of that, and she's a lower level. Her level cap is 40, that's a bad thing. Kasui here, he's got nothing special about him. But you can see their stats as well. He has 7 defense, which is good. His attack is low. You know, all that stuff. Let's see. I think I'll go to the next part.